Hi everyone, I'm Sanjay Allen, your teacher companion, and today we'll be talking about some tips and tricks for teachers to ace their interviews and land their dream job. So, my first teacher interview, I nailed my job. I was nervous, however, I was also confident. At that time, I did not know that I wanted to be a teacher, but it was supposed to be a placeholder while I moved from one place to the other. At that time, I was working at the courthouse and they was getting paid once a month. You see my finger, you see it right? Once a month. Who can live off of something like that? It was driving me crazy. So after about 3 or 4 months, I was already ready to go. I sat in my cubicle every day. I came early and I did their work from 7 to 12, and from 12 to 4, I did my own work, which was studying to pass my teacher certification test. So once I did that, my name got on the list, and I don't know how this principal called me or how she even knew about me, but she did. She called me up, and I was thinking, I don't want to work there, but I'm going to just go to see what kind of questions they're going to ask me. So I went in and I was dressed all professional and I was excited. And I really think that by the time I got there, I kind of wanted to get it, because now I'm like, I'm about this. So I'm going to get this job. So I go in and I wait a little bit. The principal comes out and she calls me back and we have a little small talk, and then we get right into it. And the first question she asked me was, what age group, what type of kids you like? And I was like, oh, I like the smaller kids. I like to see them go from one area of learning into actually impacting their learning with answering questions and being able to give you back what you gave them or whatever it was that they read. I wanted to see that. So I was green. I didn't know the lingo. I didn't know anything. So I was just talking to her about what I thought, because I thought teaching was easy. So afterwards, I remember her asking me what would make me the happiest, because obviously I had never taught before. I'm coming from a police background, so I had no idea about teaching. And all I could think about was when I'm with my cousins and my godkids, to see their light bulb come on made me feel like, wow, I just taught them something, and they felt great and I felt great. So that's how I felt I would feel if my students finally got it. And when I said that to her, she kind of got up and she went to the door and she told me to go out in the hallway and wait. And I'm thinking, oh, I guess I'll have to go looking for some more teacher jobs. But she came back and she said, can you start tomorrow? And I'm like, huh? Tomorrow? I ain't even want to work here. But inside I was thinking, you did it. So I went in there, green as I don't know what, but I got my job. However, that was 18 years ago. School has changed a lot. So now they're not just finding someone that they want to be there. They're looking for someone that's going to be a part of their team. So they want to ask more intricate questions. And if you don't know the proper language that you should be using, it would be best to make sure that you learn it, even though you may be transitioning and it may be your new career fresh out of college, but you should sound like a teacher. So if I close my eyes, I would hear teacher, even if I opened them and I did not see teacher. So that was my interview experience, but I have sat with a lot of new teachers since then, and I'm finding that their experience is not so fruitful because they're not getting the jobs. So I've also mentored a lot of teachers, and some of them I'm wondering, oh, how did they get here? Because they need a lot of stuff. And then others, it's like they don't need me to mentor them. So whether you're one or the other, I want to help you. So the first tip is going to be to research your school. You need to know the demographics of the students that you're teaching, the type of principal that you're going to be working for, what the principal motto is, because they should have written their own. You want to know what goals the school have and what frustrations they have, because if the school isn't a good match for you, you're not going to be a good match for the school. So that's the first thing that you want to do. Make sure that you know where you're going. Do your research. It sounds wonderful when you go in to let the principal know that you already know where they are. If they're a B school, you want to know they're a B, and you want to know what information got them to that B. That information is available, and even if it's not, call the school and ask them. They'll be able to give you that information, and trust me, you're going to shine with the principal once they realize that you know just as much about their school as the current staff does. Okay, tip number 2. Prepare answers to common interview questions. Usually, the questions that they're asking teachers are not the questions that they will ask you on a typical job. So you want to learn the language. You want to sound like you're already a teacher if it's your first time. And if it's not, don't worry about it. But make sure that you understand what they're going to ask you. So they're going to ask you something like, what inspired you to want to become a teacher? How would you manage a classroom? How would you differentiate the learners for the instructions for a diverse learning classroom? You want to have answers prepared so that you're not hit with, oh my God, what do I say? What do I do? These are things that you should actually be expecting them to say, because of course they will ask you questions that you may not be expecting, but those for sure, they want to know that, because that's the crux of what it is that you will be doing on a day-to-day basis as a teacher. So tip number 3. Demonstrate your teaching skills. So if it's possible, you can bring some type of work if you've done anything in education. If you haven't, it's okay. But if you have, you can bring work samples or anything that shows that you move students, anything that can display your organization, how you're detail oriented, anything that will say that you're passionate about teaching, that will be helpful. Tip number 4. You want to share your accomplishments. So if you have any for anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be only teaching, but anything that shows that you're a good worker, that you're dependable, that your work speaks for itself and someone acknowledged you for that. So any type of experiences that you have that they've acknowledged, bring that as well. Tip number 5, show enthusiasm and some passion during your interview. Show them that you're excited about teaching and that you're encouraging for others, mainly your students, because those will be the people that you need to convince that you are a great teacher, that you can teach them, because little known fact, kids don't learn from people that they don't like. What did I say? Kids do not learn from people they do not like. Say that one more time. If your students don't like you, you can be the best teacher ever. You can create the best lessons. If they do not like you, they will not learn from you, and you do not want to find out the hard way, my students don't like me. So make sure that you are getting across to the person that's interviewing you, because they also can feel that energy. So you want to make eye contact with them. You don't want to toot your own horn too loud, and you also don't want to sell yourself short, because you want to come in, they don't know you, so you want to come in and present the best you so that they can see how you fit into their team where they're thinking about placing you. They already know what those personalities are, so they want to know how you're going to fit in there. So when you go in, you want to convey that you can roll with any team that they place you with, and they're going to shine with you. Tip number 6, you want to ask thoughtful questions. So prepare your own list of questions that you think are very important, because this is not just an interview for them to select you, but it's also an interview for you to select them. Because if it's not a good fit, it's not going to work anyway. So make sure that you ask some questions. If you don't ask any questions, it doesn't give the interviewer anything else to hang on other than the questions they've asked you and the answers that you had. There will be things that you want to know. Make sure you ask those questions. Tip number 7. Follow up after the interview. You want to send an email to your principal thanking them for their time and expressing your interest in the position. There may be 2 or 3 people that they're hanging in the balance in between you and 2 other people, and you sending an email, that would also give them an example of your written communication skills. So make sure that you say something to the principal. Don't just wait 2 and 3 weeks for her to give you a call back to say you have the position or we've selected someone else, or maybe they don't even call you to say that they have selected someone else. So reach out to them and let them know that you are very interested in the position and you just want to know if you have it, because secretly you really want to know, do I take this other position, or do I also keep looking because this was the only school that I actually applied for? So you don't want to miss any chances. At a certain point, all the great schools, the great positions, the great grade levels, or whatever it is that you want will be gone. You're not the only one looking for these positions, although jobs may be scarce, looking for teachers to fill positions may be scarce, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people vying for these same positions. And there you have it. Those are my top tips for helping teachers nail their interviews and get their dream jobs. So remember that your interview is your chance to showcase your skills, your experience, and your passion for teaching, or whatever it is that's driving you to seek this position. You want your dream job, go get it. So remember, if you enjoyed this video, I want you to subscribe. I want you to like. And if you have any questions, I want you to ask. Leave a comment down below. And if you like newsletters or you want to be a part of our news community, go to the Teacher Companion and sign up for the newsletter. Thank you for watching. See you next video.